What is going on, everyone? My name is Benjamin Nowak. In today's video, we're talking about my top 5 baits for the month of July. I'm not going to lie, I stole this video from Alex, but I think it's a cool idea to share with you guys my baits to give you guys differing perspectives on how different people can approach bodies of water. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And I know other people are doing fewer baits, but I really want to talk about my top 5 because we have mixed species up here. There's smallmouth and there's a largemouth, and there's different baits that will work for both species, but really are tailored towards one or the other. Just one more thing really quick before we get started. I'm having a drop shot seminar. We're breaking down everything you need to know about drop shotting this Sunday, July 11th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. You don't want to miss it. We're going to go over everything that I know about drop shotting to help you guys be more successful. So don't miss it. Sunday, 6:30 p.m. You're really going to want to be there. I'm going to share everything I know about drop shotting. Without further ado, let's kind of get into my setups. And the first bait we're going to talk about is really a largemouth bait. And this is something you guys have seen me been throwing a lot lately, and I'm going to kind of let the cat out of the bag on this one. This is a 1/2 ounce compact style jig with a Berkley chigger craw trailer. Now this is a 4-inch size chigger craw trailer. I bite down the top section and I slide it up onto this little compact 1/2 ounce jig. The reason this jig's so important is because a lot of times this time of year people are throwing jigs, and so having something that's just a little bit different can really separate you guys from the rest. The way I make this jig is with a Do It Mold Sparky jig mold. I added a bait keeper in here, so there's a wire bait keeper and then a wire hand-tied skirt. I really like this combination. It's caught me a ton of big fish. Now what I'm using this for is really a bunch of different applications. I can skip it around docks, I can flip offshore grass, I can throw it on deep offshore cover and get bit. And that's one of the reasons that this is my #1 bait for largemouth, and maybe it'll come into play for smallmouth, but that's really a largemouth presentation for me. The versatility on this thing means I can keep it in my hand a lot of the time and really kind of fish different situations and get a lot of bites. You're going to start to see this 1/2 ounce jig continue to play throughout the summer, but really in the month of July and August is where it's going to play a lot. Fishing around docks, fishing around offshore cover. So a 1/2 ounce compact style jig, that's really important, is getting a lot of play for me. Really, the rod that I'm choosing is the TFO 756. This is 7'5" heavy power rod, is going to play for me the most. I'll also mix in a 735 or 736, which is a 7.3 heavy. The big difference there, I just like the 7.5 when I'm fishing offshore, when I'm flipping that offshore grass, because it picks up line more quickly when I set the hook. So going to a little bit longer rod is the reason the 756 has gotten the nod for me. Then I'm pairing it with a higher speed gear ratio reel. This is a 7:3-to-1 reel, Garcia Revo STX, and that is my setup #1. So setup #2, which I don't think is going to be a surprise to anyone, is a drop shot. A drop shot, just like a jig, is super versatile. You can fish it shallow, you can fish it deep, smallmouth, you can fish it largemouth. When guys are power fishing through those fish, it's just a really effective technique that catches both species, and it catches a lot of really big fish as well. Now the bait that I have rigged on here is a Berkley hitworm. I bit off just the top section, so it's about 4 inches long. Owner Sniper size 1 hook, 10-pound test, braided line to 8-pound test fluorocarbon, which I connect with a tiny little swivel right there for you guys. And the reason I do that is because I just like that connection, and it doesn't allow my braid to get a bunch of line twist. Now just a reminder, I'm having the drop shot seminar this Sunday, July 11th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll go over this whole setup. We'll go over everything that I know about drop shotting and anything you guys want to know as well. So be there for that drop shot seminar, 6:30 p.m. this Sunday. You're not going to want to miss it. The rod that I'm pairing that up with is a TFO Tactical Elite 713. It's a 7-1 medium light rod, and it's more of a parabolic bend. Super critical is going with more of a parabolic action in the rod, a softer action in the rod, and I'll explain why in that drop shot seminar. And then this reel is a Revo MGX reel, really smooth drag, and just a great reel to pair with the drop shot size 30. Bait #3 might come as a surprise unless you guys follow me on Instagram, and that is a jerk bait. A jerk bait is such a powerful tool, not just in the spring, especially in the north, but during the summer, a jerk bait plays a lot. This is a bait that has a lot of power because it can get both feeding strikes and reactionary strikes from these fish. So you can fish it around shallow grass, you can fish it around deep open water areas, and you can just get a lot of fish to come up and look at this bait and bite this bait that don't want to touch anything else. So the bait that I have here is the Berkley Stunna in the perch color. This is the 112 standard depth diving model, dives down to about 5 or 6 feet. And for the color patterns that I'm throwing, I'm letting the conditions dictate the patterns that I'm throwing. I prefer to fish baitfish style patterns. I think a lot of the bigger bass are feeding on baitfish this time of year, especially the more juvenile perch, the medium-sized bluegill. And so by going with these baitfish patterns, you can imitate those really well. But if the weather's nasty, if it's kind of cloudy and overcast, I go to a more opaque style bait, something that's less translucent, that will flash light or shine light better. So I'll go to more white body style baits than this perch imitation, which is very, very translucent. I'm actually fishing this on a crankbait style rod. This is a TFO 7-foot cranking rod, and I like that because it bends deeper in the rod and keeps these fish pinned without putting too much pressure on those hooks. It also has a little bit of a snappy tip, so it lets me work this bait really effectively. The reel I'm throwing is a Revo ALF. It's a super high speed gear ratio, 8:0:1 gear ratio reel, which lets me pick up line when that fish eats the bait and comes to me, as well as kind of keep up with the cadence that I'm working the bait at. I'm always fishing my jerk baits on 10-pound test line. I think that lets that bait get to maximum depth and just really gives the jerk bait the best possible action. So kind of let the conditions dictate the colors that you're choosing. In sunny conditions where there's a lot of light penetration, I like to go with clear. Or if they don't seem to be really reacting to those clear colors, you can fish like a flashy style, silver style body. And if it's overcast or a little bit off-colored water, go to a more opaque white style bait because it's going to flash and it's going to stand out against that cloudy skies, cloudy conditions, and off-colored water. And now we're going to talk about everyone's favorite way to catch fish, and that is on top water. And one of my favorite ways is throwing big walking style baits during the middle of summer. This is the Berkley Jaywalker, and the reason I like this is it's a bigger profile, super, super loud, so I can draw fish from a long ways away to this thing. And my buddy is the one that really clued me in on this. We were up north fishing around a mayfly hatch, and I was fishing my little popper, and he was fishing a big walking style bait, and he was drawing fish up over like 15 foot of water, getting them to come up and smash a topwater walking bait. This is something that has a ton of drawing power. It's something that'll call fish from a long ways away and gets you a lot of really, really fun bites. Like topwater is one of my favorite. Color selection, I keep this pretty simple. I'm either fishing this bone pattern or I'm fishing the chartreuse shad pattern, especially when I'm fishing around super clean water for smallmouth. The reason I like that chartreuse shad, it's sort of translucent, but it has a flash of chartreuse. It has a little bit of flash that draws these smallmouth up to it. And like I said, this pulls fish from a long ways away. So when there's a light wind, when there's just a ripple on the water, you can call these fish up from a long, long ways over those deeper flats, those deeper points. Or if you're seeing fish bust or schooling out on little bluegills, you can cast this thing ways away from the boat and you can draw fish to this bait because it has a ton of pulling power, especially when those fish are looking up. The rod that I'm throwing this on is the TFO Tactical Bass 610 topwater rod. So it's a 6'10", more moderate action rod for those lighter hooks that you have, those treble hooks that you have on your topwater walking style, or if you want to throw popping style baits. The reel that I'm throwing is a Revo STX 7:3:1 gear ratio. It's a little bit higher speed gear ratio. It lets me pick up line faster, but it has a huge line capacity because you can cast this a long ways. And then I'm fishing out on straight copolymer line. The reason I like the copoly 15-pound is it's super, super strong, abrasion resistant. It floats, which is critical when you're fishing a topwater walking style bait, and you can cast it forever. That's a big deal, especially with this bait. You want to get it as far away from the boat as possible, whether you're fishing smallmouth or largemouth. Give that fish the most time to find that bait, key in on it, and come up and get it. So having a bait that you can throw a long ways, having a setup that you can throw forever away from the boat is really, really critical because it helps those fish key in on it and come up and have more time to get it versus those short pitches and flips away from the boat that you can do with other techniques. In the final approach, which is actually a largemouth and smallmouth approach, although most people consider it more of a smallmouth technique, is a spy bait. A spy bait is such a powerful technique. Once these fish are offshore, when there's light wind, post front, high sun, but it's really, really good anytime those fish are suspended feeding on small bait fish. And what makes this technique so effective is you can target fish that otherwise are very difficult to get to eat. It's a super natural approach, has a small shimmy, and then those two props, the one on the front and the one on the back, constantly spin when you're reeling that bait back to the boat. So you have the shimmy, the listing action, and then you have the two props spinning that drive fish crazy. It's a really, really unique approach. Now the bait I'm showing you guys is the Berkley Spy 70. I'm not going to pretend like I've thrown this forever. I've thrown it for about a week and a half now, and I've caught some really big largemouth on this thing. But I like it because what makes this different than the Duo Realis, which is, I guess, model that I would throw more often, are these small washers that are on the blades. It allows these blades to spin at ultra slow speeds. You don't hardly even have to be reeling this bait in and those blades are spinning. So that's something unique about this bait that I found to really, really like. The rod that I'm throwing this on is a brand new Tactical Elite Temple Fork Outfitters 763. This is a rod that I've had a ton of input in. We basically went through 3 or 4 prototypes to make this thing happen, and I can't be more proud or excited to talk to you guys about this rod. We've had this in the arsenal since last fall. We've been working on it, trying to get it ready, and we're now ready to release it. It's the TFO 763. It's a 7'6" medium light, but it is a moderate to moderate fast action. The reason that's important is on those tiny, tiny treble hooks, it keeps fish pinned. And just like with your hair jigs, just like with your small swim baits, when you're fishing light wire hooks, small hooks, you need something that has power to drive the hook home, but you don't want to rip that hook or bend the hook or flex it. And a lot of times when you're fishing medium, even medium light rods that are faster action, it's pulling the hook from those fish, and you might notice some more lost fish. So I'm super stoked to bring you this rod. TFO 763 Tactical Elite, and then I'm fishing a slow speed gear ratio reel. This is a Fluger Purist. The new model is the Fluger Supreme, but really having a slow speed gear ratio 5-speed spinning reel is really critical. 8-pound test braided line to 6-pound test fluorocarbon leader is what I go to for that setup. And now I really want to talk to you guys about spy bait colors, because I think this is something that gets overlooked or doesn't get talked about near as much when you're talking about spy baits, because people think you can take one, cast it out, throw it out, and it just magically catches fish. There's a couple styles of colors that I keep in my box and like to throw. And the first one is an opaque style or a very natural baitfish style looking color. The reason I like this is a perch imitation. I believe this is chartreuse perch from Duo Realis. This is the G-Fix 80 model. Looks natural, and when the water has a little bit of color to it, fishing an opaque style bait like this is going to create a silhouette and cause those fish to be able to come up and look at it. So opaque, think cloudy, think a little bit of off-color water when it has some color to it. That's what I'm going with, a bait that has, I guess, some more solid sides to it. Then there's flashy. This is another Duo Realis 80. This is the River Minnow color. And the river bait color looks really natural, but it has a lot of flash to it. So when you're fishing sunny conditions, when you're fishing maybe a little bit deeper water, I like to go with the bait with flash. And the reason I go with that is because it draws fish from a further ways away. So baits with flash, when it's sunny out, you can draw fish from a long ways away, because when it shimmies, when it lifts, when it comes through the water and it has that little shake, it's going to create flash. It's going to create drawing power to this bait. So sunny, think flashy. And finally, the third color style is translucent style baits. And the reason I like this is because in really clean water situations, it looks very natural, looks like the little minnows. You can basically see through it when you hold it up to the light. And so it's going to cause those fish to just really commit to this thing a lot easier. It creates a smaller profile in the water and less intimidating, supernatural, and just really looks like what those fish are eating. So think opaque when it's cloudy or the water's off color, flashy when there might be a little bit of color but it's sunny outside, or if you're wanting to draw fish from long ways, and when you're fishing super clear water, I like to go to a more translucent style bait like that third style that I showed you guys. So those are my 5 baits for the month of July. Really hope this is going to help you guys go out and catch more fish, maybe give you guys confirmation or affirmation that you're throwing the right things, and that's the way that I like to approach my home bodies of water. And just a reminder for you guys, I'm having that drop shot seminar this Sunday, July 11th at 6:30 p.m. Don't miss it. I'm going to have a ton of awesome information, share some secrets with you guys that will help you go out and catch more fish. So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, let me know in the comment section down below. If I missed your favorite bait, again, go roast me in the comment section. I don't care. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's grow this video, blow this thing up. As always, I appreciate you for watching. Thanks so much. Take care, tight lines. God bless. Pursue your passion.